the struggle. He's actually our keynote speaker for the evening. Now listen to this. Shaun King, he's an American writer, a civil rights activist, like I mentioned before. He's a long-time and outspoken columnist for the New York Daily News. He actually really doesn't need an introduction in this room. A lot of us know him. He's known for using social media to promote religious, charitable, and social causes, including the recent Black Lives Matter movement. He's involved in that. He is now a political commentator on the YouTube show Young Turks. You can find him there. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to put your hands together for our keynote speaker and a king in the struggle, Mr. Shaun King.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. It's my honor to be here. Hey, I was not expecting the borough president to kick knowledge like that on food and diet and all of that, but that was actually some wonderful knowledge he was dropping there. So put your hands together for the borough president. Yeah. Did you all take his number down? Yeah. Now I'm gonna text him health, but now I'm gonna start texting him all types of stuff. Like, hey man, I got a parking ticket right here, Mr. Borough President. So I took your number down, man. So I'm just saying, I got it. But thank you all so much for having me. It's my honor to be here. I want to tell you just a couple quick stories, and I'm gonna teach a lesson. But I just want you to know, it's my honor and privilege to be here. I actually wanted to be here with you all last year, but I think I was out of town. And I live in Brooklyn. I'm a New Yorker though. I moved here from Atlanta just 2 years ago. And my family and I live in Brooklyn. My wife is a school teacher here. I have 5 kids who all attend public school here, from 5 years old to 18. I have 2 teenage daughters. And I love New York, and I love being here with you. I'm on a train every single day, and I try to shake as many hands and thank as many people as I can. So I do want you to hear from me. I appreciate your hard work that you do every single day, day in and day out. And you know, I know that the things that I fight for and care about are the same things that you fight for and care about. But I want to tell you a quick story of a couple mistakes that I've made and the lessons that I learned from those mistakes. I don't even know how many of you know who I am, or if you follow me on social media, or on Twitter or Facebook, or anywhere else, but in 2014, I was not even doing what I'm doing now. Like now I'm known as a journalist, or I'm known as an activist, but in 2014, I was doing something totally different. I was the director of communications for an environmental charity in California. And I had been an activist for many years, and in 1999, I was a student at Morehouse College in Atlanta, and I was student government president at Morehouse, and I was 19 years old, and I learned, you know, this is pre-Twitter, pre-Facebook, pre-social media. And as students at Morehouse, we're from all over the world. We had students from 45 states, from 40 countries all over the world. We had just learned about Amadou Diallo being shot and killed here in New York. And I know New Yorkers understand that story, but for me as a 19-year-old, the shooting death of Amadou Diallo was for what a lot of teenagers today, Ferguson and Mike Brown, was for them. But it showed me how much of a crisis police brutality really was in this country all the way back in '99. And so we protested and we organized. We sent students from Morehouse up here to New York to protest. And for nearly 2 years we protested for Amadou Diallo. I came to know his mother and his family and others, only to find out that each and every person who shot Amadou, if you don't remember, Amadou was shot 41 times on the doorstep of his home. They claim that his wallet looked like a gun, and not a single person in this room has ever seen a wallet that looked like a gun, but nobody was held accountable for it. And I remember in 1999 understanding how hard justice is to come by in this place. Well, 15 years later, I'm doing something totally different. I'm the director of communications for this environmental organization. And I got an email from a friend of mine here in New York. This is July of 2014. And he said, man, there's a video on YouTube that you have to see. It had not gone viral, it wasn't on the news yet. And he said, man, there's a middle-aged black man in the middle of Staten Island. He said, it's a huge dude. And he said, he's asking the police to leave him alone. And he said, you can see the guys, like, leave me alone, I didn't do what you think I did. He said, all of a sudden, an officer comes up from behind him and begins choking him and wrestles him to the ground. And I hadn't clicked on the video yet. He said, Shaun, you can hear the brother over and over and over again saying, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. And he said, Shaun, the guy dies right there on the sidewalk. And I clicked on the link, and it was the man that we came to know as Eric Garner. And I came to know Eric's mother, Eric's wife, Eric's children. I became good friends with his daughter Erica, who just passed away a little more than a month ago, basically giving her life, fighting for justice for her father. A few weeks later, I learned that a young brother named John Crawford was shot and killed by police at a Walmart in Ohio. Unarmed, non-violent, committed no crime. Then the next day, Mike Brown was killed. A few months later, a 12-year-old boy was shot and killed named Tamir Rice. And I made a key mistake. I came to know Mike Brown's family. I came to know Eric Garner's family. I came to know Tamir Rice's family. And as I would go and I would meet these families over and over and over again, I made this mistake. I would look at these families and I would say, listen, I just want you to know we're going to get justice for your family. And I believed it. Because you could not tell me that in each of these cases, where police had not only violated department policy, but had broken multiple laws, it was unethical, it was wrong, you could not tell me, and we were organized and we protested all over the country, you could not tell me that we weren't going to get justice. And when I looked these families in the face and said, listen, we're going to get justice for your family, there was not a single part of me that thought I was lying. I believed it, and they believed it. And the entire world, millions of people around the world protested for Eric Garner, for Mike Brown, for Tamir Rice in 2014. Here in New York, in Brooklyn, in Manhattan, all over the place, we shut bridges and streets down because we thought if the world understood our pain, we might get justice. But we made a key mistake, because what I came to understand is that awareness of injustice does not give you justice. I thought it did. And a lot of what we did in case after case and story after story, I thought was, if the city, if the country, if the president, if the mayor only understood how wrong this was, we'll get justice. And what we came to understand is that's not how this system works. It's not how it worked in 2015 when police in Baltimore killed Freddie Gray by severing his spine in half. We got no justice in that case. It's not what happened when they pulled over a beautiful young woman in Prairie View, Texas, named Sandra Bland. And she died in police custody. No justice. There was no justice for Philando Castile, the young brother, the cafeteria supervisor in Minnesota that we saw with our own eyes get shot and killed on Facebook Live. No justice for that. No justice for Alton Sterling as he was selling CDs in front of a convenience store in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And yet, we kept doing the same thing. We kept protesting, yes. We kept marching, yes. We kept filling out petitions and sending Facebook messages and tweets. I would keep going on the radio. I would give speeches all around the country. And hear my heart. Every one of those things we should have done. They were all necessary, but they don't bring justice. And I want us to have that understanding. Not that marching is wrong, protesting is wrong, filling out a petition is wrong. Do that. It brings awareness but it doesn't bring justice. And I've spent the past 2 years having told a good 200 families, we're going to get justice for your family. Don't worry, we're going to get justice. Only to get nothing like justice for any of them. So I've spent the past 2 years trying to understand, how do we get justice in this country? I want to make 4 points on how we get justice. Here's how you make change happen in Brooklyn, in New York, not just with police brutality, but really with whatever social issue it is that you care about. There is a method for change, and really what we've been doing is a half step of a multi-step process. And we're frustrated, and we're pissed, and we're angry, and we have lost a lot. Let's be clear. We're at a point right now where we have a House, a Senate, a presidency, and a Supreme Court that do not represent us. That's a lot of losing. Let me tell you how we win. You need 4 things to win. And we get 2 of them kind of right, and the other 2 we're failing on. You need 4 things to win. The first thing that you need is energized people. You need people, but they have to be energized. Now we get that fairly well. We know how to gather people and how they need to be energized. We get that, but often we get people and they're energized and we think we're about to make change happen. Having energized people is step 1 of 4. You need to be energized because, as we know, not just now, but throughout our whole history, change is hard and slow and costly. And you better be energized. You need people who are energized. The second thing you need people, and they have to be organized. One of the reasons I was excited to be here is because you understand better than a lot of people in New York what it means to be organized. Like, being organized doesn't mean your name is on an email list. Like, as a union,